So, I want to talk about identification and identity and finding the meanings of names to discover deeper truth about somebody. You're going to need this in a very near future. So let's begin. So, this is how I determine, kind of confirm who's going to be a world leader, who is going to be, whatever. And I'll try to get more detail about somebody and see if it matches. I also do this to people who appear on the news, who are just random nobodies, or they've done something wrong. I'm not talking about just random people. I'm talking about people who were in high-profile situations. For example, that Matthew Cooks guy, with the first assassination of Trump. I did a whole thing about him. Didn't make a video on it, but I did a complete analysis with ChatGPT to find out what his name meant and if it had any correlation, if he was targeted, if he was working, if he was influenced by a third party or anything like that. So I'm going to show you a big one right now, but here we go. What does the name His name actually isn't Vladimir, by the way. It's is it, I believe it's, I'm trying to think. I mean, I know I just don't want to pronounce it wrong. I believe it's Volva. Slavic, Vlad means to rule or power. Mir means peace or world. So his full meaning is ruler of the world or bringer of peace. Putin means pathway, one who follows a path, man of their way. So Vladimir Putin means ruler of the world who follows a path. His name carries both political and philosophical weight, implying leadership, destiny, and movement along a predetermined course. Now the question is, who determines the path? We're going to talk a bit about Vladimir's identity later. I think you guys may be really interested in that. Now I'm going to do, watch this, guys. You're going to see a conflict here. You're going to see the conflict. It's crazy. No one knows it. No one's really done this or really no one's talked about it, really. You're going to find out there's a lot of similarities between him and Putin. More ways than one. Just watch. What is up with the network? Here it goes. Darnell means world, translator, ruler of the world. German Trump means drum, referring to trumpeter. Donald Trump can be interpreted as world ruler, suggesting a leader who commands attention or heralds significant events. The name surname Trump with Trump. Names often can carry historical and cultural significance, reflecting I like when it tells me it directly. Mighty ruler, ruler of the world, trumpeter, announcement who makes noise. Ruler of the world who announces himself. Basically, that's pretty much Trump right there. He announced himself, and he wants to be a world ruler. of course, the conflict is Vladimir, and he came in first. They're gonna. His name literally aligns with someone who commands attention, asserts dominance, and declares his presence loudly and unmistakably. Whether by fate or coincidence, his name fits his persona perfectly. Now let's do something like, what does... Now this is interesting. And it aligns to the same principle. You're going to see alignment with China, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think. This aligns with what I've personally noticed. Practice. Yeah, I couldn't think of his last name. Surname is relatively rare. Habit or practice, learning, repetition, mastery over time, near or close, peace level equal. One who practices and masters the way to bring peace. It suggests a disciplined leader who aims to bring stability, balance, and long-term order. Whether or not that aligns with reality depends on perspective. It is ambiguous, but if you're taking that literally, that means that Z means someone who learns from something. Communism in China was a learning process through the USSR. They used the USSR as a backbone of communist China. So they learned from that. So you could say it today as in China learns from Russia at this moment, at this time. People think it's the other way around. People think that it's China, it's Russia that's not learning and Russia is following China. It's actually swapped. It's always been swapped. It's why would they change it? Like, China did not collapse like Russia did. So China can learn from... Now, you could say that China did learn from the mistakes of Russia, but Russia really... The USSR really didn't make any mistakes. They made mistakes, but at the end of the day, they ended up becoming an inevitable process, both then and in the future, even today. So, think about that. I also want to do another one. Boris Johnson was interesting. His name actually did not take place until when COVID started. I'll explain that after it says this. Boris, battle, fighter for glory, warrior, one who fights. And John means God is gracious. Warrior, son of God's grace. Fighter, son who strives for recognition and power, son of divine favor or destiny. In a political sense, it fits. Boris Johnson is known for his combative, resilient, steadiness, and unpredictable rise of power. I remember it telling me something different when I last did that. And it was, I forget what it was, but I remember that it was like a contrast between what his name was and what he did during COVID, which created a conflict between, what am I trying to say? It created a conflict between his name and what he did in power in relation to COVID. Because there was something he said that was controversial to his name, and when that detached, then you could see his downfall. So you could use his name. I forget what it said, but this was quite a long time ago. So, yeah. I look for names that have really deep meaning. these two. Joe Biden, I think he had a semi-powerful name. It was kind of down there, but Kamala has none. It's pretty much generic if you analyzed it. Oh. Running out of time here. 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, Kamala was like a lotus flower and Harris was something. Kamala means lotus flower. See, as I said. Indian culture, purity, enlightenment, and resilience. Harris, son of Harry, son of Harris. See, I look for names that align to what is truth. Son of Harry. She's not a son. Lotus flower. What does that refer to in a leadership position? It means nothing. Joseph, God will add, God increases. It's just what I'm talking about. Joe Biden. Biden means button. So you can see that these don't align with a name like Donald Trump, which is a much more powerful name. I look for power in names. And that's usually how the Russians look at things too. Like when Tucker Carlson did his thing. When he did his interview with Putin, people were making fun of him because Carlson... Let me show you this. This is what they were looking at. This is what that's what they thought of. With the propeller. Yeah, that's what they thought. Oh boy. I don't know why he keeps doing that. I keep refreshing the page and he keeps doing this. Well guys, I guess I gotta see you later. There's some people here and the dogs are gonna bark, so I'll end it here. You can read this on your own time. Senator Carl, Freeman, Tucker Carlson, the cloth processor, Senator Carl. Don't know what that means. So, there you go.